dot photo that shows how very small we are in the universe. But first, an event which demonstrated the dangers inherent in humankind's desire to fly. In the 1930s, the pride of Nazi Germany, when it came to literally flying the flag around the world, was the Hindenburg airship. At last, it was thought luxury travel in the air over long distances was possible. Vicky Falcom tells the story of the Hindenburg disaster with the help of some remarkable archive material.
Germany's new giant dirigible, the largest ever built, comes out of her shed at Friedrichshafen for the first time.
It's 1936, and German engineers are showing off their latest airship, the LZ-129, the Hindenburg, the largest aircraft ever built.
She's been designed and constructed under the supervision of Germany's airship wizard, Dr. Hugo Eckner.
Ladies and gentlemen, the airship whose hull you see in this picture is scheduled to make a series of flights to the United States next summer. The length is approximately 800 feet. The diameter is about 140 feet. And the gas capacity is 7,100,000 cubic feet. The ship is equipped with 4 diesel engines, each of 1,200 horsepower, which will give the ship a top speed of 85 miles per hour.
Although she's a lighter-than-air machine, it takes 200 men to haul her out onto the landing field. And then her ballast is run out and she rises and gathers speed to sail away on her first trial flight over Lake Constance.
Germany's giant cigar-shaped hot air balloons, known as Zeppelins, came to prominence in World War I when they were used to drop bombs on enemy towns and cities. In the 1920s and 30s, they evolved into 5-star passenger ships. As big as the Titanic, the Hindenburg was the epitome of first-class travel, as these various news reports show.
Enormous, luxurious. She even had a lounge with an aluminium grand piano. A one-way ticket for a single cabin from Frankfurt to New York cost $750, and that was a fabulous sum that only the cream of high society could afford.
On the Hindenburg there is a cocktail bar. If your head can't stand flying, you can make it swim. Or just go unconscious.
You could take a shower, dance, even attend mass, and you felt relaxed and safe. On this point everyone agreed. No one had ever been hurt in the hands of Dr. Eckner and his officers.
There was just one problem. The Hindenburg's giant balloon was not filled with safe helium.
Because already Hitler was in power and America refused to supply Germany with helium. So into the biggest aircraft ever built, Eckner was obliged to put inflammable and explosive hydrogen.
On the evening of May 3rd, 1937, the Hindenburg left Frankfurt on the first of 18 scheduled Atlantic crossings for that year. The previous year, she had made the trip 10 times without incident. On board this time were 97 people, 36 passengers and 61 crew, including the captain, Max Bruce. On May 6, the Hindenburg was spotted floating past the Empire State Building, her silver tail fins decorated with swastikas, the symbol of Nazi Germany.
These pictures, made from a Pathé newsplane less than 4 hours before the tragedy, show the world's largest airship heading for Lakehurst, New Jersey. Over Newark's famous auto skyway, the airship was hailed by thousands who little dreamed it was their final glimpse of the Hindenburg, a graceful craft sailing serenely to her doom.
The ship's final destination was the Lakehurst Naval Air Station in New Jersey, around 80 miles from Manhattan. She arrived there at around 7 p.m. Heavy publicity about the first transatlantic passenger flight of the year had attracted a large number of journalists, including Herb Morrison from Chicago radio station WLS. His eyewitness account would become one of the most famous news radio broadcasts of all time.
There are a number of important personages on board, and no doubt the new commander, Captain Max Frisch, is thrilled too, for this is his great moment, the first time he's commanded the Hindenburg.
Wind and thunderstorms were making the mooring difficult as the ship kept tilting.
The dirigible circled the landing field at Lakehurst, New Jersey, dumping more water ballast than ever before in vain efforts to level off.
Captain Pruce was also having to make sharp left turns to keep the airship's nose directed at the mooring mast.
Again she dumps ballast, and a nervous tension grips those who are watching, for this is something unusual. There goes more ballast, but the tail is settling in spite of all that has been dumped. A grim note of impending tragedy. Finally, the landing lines are dropped.
The mooring lines were dropped to the ground crew nearly 300 feet below. Once attached to the mast, the ground crew could use a winching system to lower the Hindenburg to the ground and hold it fast so the passengers could disembark.
And it's been taken a hold of down on the field by a number of men. The back motors of the ship are just holding it just enough to keep it from... It bursts into flames. Wait, get it started. It's crashing terrible. Oh my, get out of the way, please. It's burning, bursting into flames, and it's falling on the mooring mast, and all the folks will see that this is terrible. This is one of the worst catastrophes in the world. Oh, it's like 400 or 500 feet into the sky, and it's a terrific crash, ladies and gentlemen. The smoke and the flames now, and the flame is crashing to the ground, not quite to the mooring mast. All the humanity and all the passengers screaming around here. I told you. Let's talk to people. His friends are on there. I can't talk, ladies and gentlemen.
Those aboard leaping for life from a flaming inferno. The actual crash of the Hindenburg. An airship destroyed in less than half a minute. Rushing to the rescue, the heroes of the tragedy dash in, heedless of danger, to help the injured to safety, while others, beyond help, perish in the flames.
"13 of the 36 passengers and 22 of the 61 crew died, along with one member of the ground crew."
The Hindenburg has gone. She represented man's latest attempt to conquer the Atlantic by air. Her tragedy will not halt the march of progress. From her ashes will arise the knowledge. From her fate, the lesson that will lead to a greater and a better means of mastering the air. If so, her dead will not have died in vain.
In the following weeks, American and German investigators trawled through the wreckage and conducted interviews with eyewitnesses and survivors to understand how the tragedy could have happened. Many people, including Captain Pruce, suspected sabotage, as this BBC report from 1962 explained.
7 million cubic feet of hydrogen went up like a torch and 35 people died. But why? The official inquiry was unsatisfactory. It listed 8 possible causes. Hermann Goering called it an act of God. Even Himmler, who was chief of the SS, failed to get to the bottom of the mystery. It was a severe blow to Hitler's pride. Undoubtedly, some evidence that might have shed light was never heard. Explanations ranging from lightning to radio interference were suggested. If it was sabotage, Hitler was determined that nobody should know.
To this day, no one knows for certain what caused the explosion. One popular theory is that it was caused by static electricity and a buildup of hydrogen after it flew through a thunderstorm. It marked the end of passenger airship travel, as General Noble, who commanded the Italian Air Force's airship, told the BBC in 1966.
All in all, I do not believe that there is any future for the airship. Airships could be considered dead forever.
The former commander of the Italian Air Force's airship, ending that vivid telling of the Hindenburg story by Vicky Farncombe. Well, Barbara Weibel is author of a book on the Hindenburg and director of archives at the Zeppelin Museum in Friedrichshafen, the German city where the Hindenburg was built, and is on the line now. Let's focus on the causes of the disaster first, Barbara. I mean, we heard that the US embargo on selling helium to Nazi Germany was a factor, but why did they fill the Hindenburg with flammable hydrogen?
They filled the Hindenburg with flammable hydrogen because at that time the USA had their own airship program and they had not that much helium to deliver to Germany. And I would assume they felt in a way safe because of nearly 40 years of having airships filled with hydrogen. And so, yeah, maybe they felt in a way, okay, we can do it, we can manage it.
One of the most remarkable things about this episode is that 62 people survived who were on the airship. How?
Yeah, that's very astonishing. Most of them who survived were passengers. They are standing at the windows because the airship was in the process of landing. And so the passengers were looking outside, waving to their friends, to their families who are standing there and waiting for them. And so those who stand near to the windows, they had the chance to save their lives with a jump out of the windows, which needed a lot of courage.
It's remarkable. How did the disaster change aviation at the time? Because airships were thought of as a very good thing.
Yeah, they were the quickest possibility to cross the Atlantic in the 30s, and planes were not able to do this in 1936 non-stop. But yeah, it brought passenger travel with airships to an end. So maybe the airships had their time just in this very small period.
The Hindenburg disaster also had another impact, and that was on the world of media and film, because it was so public and so widely seen.
Yeah, because this explosion were in presence of cameras and medias, and so became very famous, and it's very present in our collective memory, you could say. These pictures, nearly everybody knows these pictures from the burning Hindenburg. And so it became very popular, and there is a lot of film material, and it found its way to the pop culture. So yeah, until today, it's a very present accident.
Now the key question, looking back over history and from our position today, are airships dead, or do people still use them today, and do they have a future?
They are not dead. Nowadays you have an airship again in Friedrichshafen, and they build new Zeppelins with a new technology, much smaller than the old ones, but there is still passenger travel with them, but just for fun riding, just to have tourist flights. And there is a new and a much bigger airship in California, the Pathfinder, and it already made its first walk in the sun, how they called it. And so, yeah, the idea of airships is not dead, and maybe they will have their revival now.
And for you, Barbara, have you been on an airship, and what's it like?
Yes, I have. I had the opportunity to make a very special flight some years ago, and the airship, the Friedrichshafen airship, flew to Stuttgart, and I had the opportunity to fly with this 5 hours, and it was great. And it's really, one should do this.
That's Barbara Weibel, Director of Archives at the Zeppelin Museum in Friedrichshafen, Germany. When the Hindenburg was floating around in the 1930s, the world was blissfully unaware of the damage that humans could do to the Earth's atmosphere. One of the key moments in the evolution of our understanding of these things came in 1985 with the discovery of damage being done to the atmosphere's ozone layer. Ian Wilkinson has been hearing from a scientist who was central to revealing that inconvenient truth.
There's new concern about the ozone layer, which protects the Earth from the sun's harmful ultraviolet radiation. Some scientists say that more must be done to curb the use of the chemicals which cause its deterioration. They're concerned about chemicals called chlorofluorocarbons, which are used in aerosol sprays and fast food packaging.
That was the BBC with an early report on a shocking scientific discovery. Unfortunately, most of the world was not paying attention to environmental warnings. At the time, Jonathan Shanklin was working for the British Antarctic Survey in Cambridge.
Back in 1985, I was basically a junior scientist with the survey, and one of the many roles was looking at Antarctic ozone data that was coming back. Some of it via telex, which is a very primitive form of internet, some of it on handwritten sheets shipped back all the way from Antarctica.
Those readings came from the Dobson Ozone Spectrophotometer at the survey's South Pole Research Station. It had been measuring ozone in the Earth's atmosphere since 1956 because, as a European Space Agency film explains, ozone is essential for life.
The ozone layer is a thin part of Earth's atmosphere that absorbs most of the ultraviolet radiation from the sun. When depleted, this radiation can reach the surface, causing harm to humans and other living things. Ultraviolet rays damage DNA and cause sunburn, increasing the long-term risk of problems such as skin cancer.
So for decades, the British Antarctic Survey had been keeping an eye on ozone levels.
There didn't seem to be any changes, but there was a gap of some years, and we had an open day where we were going to show the latest results to the public. And I thought, well, there's been all this fuss about CFCs destroying ozone, and me being a naive young scientist thought, well, no, it must be a load of rubbish. I'll show people this year's ozone data. I'll compare it with what had been done previously, the very early 70s. They'll be the same, and people don't need to worry.
And nobody had done that?
Nobody had done that at all. In part, it was because people thought, well, we've measured ozone of Antarctica, it's not changing, why bother continuing it?
Jonathan wasn't put off. He started by comparing 1984's data against figures from the decade before.
I thought the results would be exactly the same as they were in 1972, and that would be the end of the story. But in practice, of course, they weren't the same. And my boss at the time, Joe Farman, initially said, oh, it's just a one-off. Don't worry about it next year. It'll be really high. So I had to go back through the missing data, and that was on these handwritten sheets.
And there was a big backlog, hundreds of sheets listing thousands of figures. And they all needed inputting into the computer. Jonathan needed help.
We had two ladies who would do all the typing, Dawn and Beryl. They were much better typists than I was, so they could spend days and days and days, not months, typing all these values in. And sometimes the numbers were written down very poorly, or they wrote down the wrong times. And at other times, the ladies would skip from one column to the next one. And so there was quite a lot of validation work just to make sure the numbers were correct.
Finally, all the data was collected. So what was the result?
We could see the steady decline. Each year, ozone values were just that little bit lower, and it was really quite a surprise. And so the natural assumption was, oh, Jonathan's got the calculations wrong. In part, it comes from my background that I'd done in physics, and they teach you to look at your data objectively. And so I'm certain that I've got the calculations that I've done right. So it really must be something in the atmosphere. I think at that time I didn't really understand the implications at all. I thought it was just a purely obscure little scientific discovery that wouldn't really get any further than the Antarctic.
But in 1985, when Jonathan and his fellow scientists Joe Farman and Brian Gardner published their findings, it caused headlines.
Results published today in the journal Nature suggest that the delicate layer of ozone in the upper atmosphere that shields us from harmful ultraviolet radiation is under even greater threat than was thought.
The next job was to discover what was causing the hole, which was by then covering the entire Antarctic continent.
This week, a series of flights begins over the South Pole by a team of 160 American and British scientists. They'll be using converted U-2 spy planes flying about 12 miles high through the area of maximum ozone depletion to gather weather information and collect chemical samples.
They very conclusively demonstrated that the cause of the problem was fluorine from the chlorofluorocarbons that had been put in the northern hemisphere.
The gases responsible are called CFCs for short, found in fridges, in aerosol cans, and even in the plastic containers that fast foods are served in. When CFCs are released, they travel upwards, rising to the layer of ozone, where they react with the sun and form chlorine. That eats away at the ozone layer and the hole develops.
So if you hadn't done that reading, almost as a personal challenge, would it have been found? Would it have been too late?
It would have been found eventually. It would probably have only been 2 or 3 years later, because I think other countries might have noticed it in their data. But with a lot of these things, the sooner you take action, the less problems there are down the line.
The The explorer Robert Swan discovered how disastrous those problems could be during an expedition to the South Pole with 2 colleagues, as he told the BBC.
We were the first 3 people to walk underneath this hole in the ozone layer that everybody's talking about around the world. Us 3 are the only people that have ever subjected any flesh to see what happens, and our flesh burnt. It took months for the skin to stop peeling off our faces after returning back to civilization.
It was obvious action was needed. So in 1987, more than 90 countries signed a landmark agreement known as the Montreal Protocol.
Finding a partner who shares your
phase out
faith, it can be hard as a single
And
Christian.
the world has agreed to a new plan to try to save the ozone layer.
The broad picture is one of slow recovery. So there are ground measurements of the chlorofluorocarbons, and that shows that they're declining exactly as predicted. And so that is really good. We've done the right thing. We're still going to have them in the atmosphere for another 50 or more years. We're going to have ozone holes for that sort of length of time. But the trajectory is definitely in the right direction.
Looking back on it now, do you think the discovery that you made, was that a major turning point?
I think it definitely was, because once we'd made the discovery, NASA could go back to the satellites and have a picture of what it looked like over Antarctica. And as soon as you got that picture that anybody can look at and say, oh yes, there's an ozone hole, then again, the political pressure becomes greater.
It also won Jonathan international recognition.
It's astonishing to think that what I regarded myself as, which was a sort of backroom boy scientist in an office in Cambridge, did make a discovery that has changed the world. And it's really quite amazing that a good number of the world's population have heard of the ozone hole and its discovery, and they're amazed when they meet me. Whereas I think I'm sort of a perfectly ordinary scientist who was lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time with the right background to push that this was something real.
Scientist Jonathan Shanklin was speaking to Jane Wilkinson, remembering his discovery of the hole in the ozone layer in 1985. Lessons there perhaps for today's world leaders confronting global climate change. Jonathan received many awards for his work, and Shanklin Glacier in Antarctica is named after him. More from the History Hour in just a moment.
This is the BBC World Service, exploring the existential threat facing narwhals.
Narwhals live in the freezing Arctic oceans. Theirs is a world of sound. They make whistles, pulses, clicks to navigate, communicate with one another, and to find food.
The problem is that there is this influx of new noises. The amount of ice in the Arctic has been decreasing. That has led to more vessel traffic and more industrial activities.
From quiet backwater to noisy new frontier, the sea creatures of the Arctic, including the narwhals, are facing a cacophonous future.
Narwhals are extremely sensitive to these sounds. They stopped feeding, they moved away from the sound source, and they also stopped echolocating.
Will the unicorns of the sea fall silent? At bbcworldservice.com/documentaries or wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up in part 2 of the History Hour, the iconic photograph of planet Earth taken from the Voyager space probe 6 billion kilometers away. From the 1980s, the story of a solar flare that blacked out a province in Canada, and the invention of the first commercial wingsuit.
People get this feeling that they can keep on flying, while in reality we are always falling, we are just gliding, and you cannot keep flying forever.
That's after a summary of today's world news.
BBC News with Emily Thomas. The first moon spacecraft built by a private firm has taken off from Florida more than 50 years after the last American lunar mission. The Peregrine 1 robot lander separated from the booster soon after liftoff. It's to land in the moon's northern hemisphere late next month. Israel has mounted sustained bombardments the length of the Gaza Strip, reportedly killing dozens of Palestinians. The US Secretary of State is holding talks in the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and later Tel Aviv. The trial has begun in Switzerland of a former Interior Minister of the Gambia, Ousmane Sonko. He's charged in connection with the killing, torture and rape of political opponents. India's top court has cancelled an order by the Gujarat state government that allowed the premature release of 11 men convicted for the gang rape of a woman during anti-Muslim riots in 2002. The BBC has uncovered evidence of abuse by the founder of one of the world's biggest evangelical churches. Former members of the Synagogue Church of All Nations have accused the late T.B. Joshua, a Nigerian, of rape, torture and forced abortions. The church said previous claims had been unfounded. The Pakistani Taliban says it was responsible for bombing a group of police assigned to protect polio vaccinators. At least 5 people were killed and 22 injured, 10 seriously. Russian officials in the border city of Belgorod say 300 residents have been evacuated since a large Ukrainian attack last week. 25 people were killed in the missile assault, which followed a series of attacks by Russia on Ukrainian civilian targets. China says it's identified a foreign national who's been spying for Britain's Foreign Intelligence Service. London recently accused Beijing of spying against the UK. That was the latest world news from the BBC.
Welcome back to part 2 of the History Hour with Max Pearson. Still to come, how a solar storm knocked out a chunk of Canada's electricity network in the late 1980s. And the man who invented the wingsuit. Before that, though, we're going to take a look at ourselves from a very, very long way away. On February the 14th, 1990, the Voyager 1 space probe took a photograph looking back towards Earth from billions of kilometers away. That photo showed us as nothing more than a pale blue dot. Darryl Morris has spoken to a planetary scientist who was involved in the Voyager project.
I had chills running up and down my back. It looked so tiny and so fragile and yet so special in that ray of scattered light. It just sent chills up and down my spine.
The Voyager 1 probe and its twin, Voyager 2, were built by NASA to explore the outer planets of our solar system. Candice Hansen was part of the team of scientists that controlled and analysed the cameras on board the probes.
Discoveries. Every day almost it felt like we were discovering something new. Volcanoes on Io. We found a battered surface of Callisto. We didn't know those things before we got there, and when we left, those places had names.
After exploring all the giant outer planets and their 48 moons, Voyager took one final photograph, looking back to where its journey had begun, to Earth. A tiny speck of blue, alone in space.
I think that the legacy of that image is really the same today as it was then, and it will be in the future, which is that this is our home, and we all are in it together, and we need to figure out how to live with each other, no matter what the challenge, because really this is it.
For Candice, the story began 13 years before that picture, in the summer of 1977. She was a postgraduate student about to start an internship at NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab, the home of Voyager.
It just happened that that summer was the summer that Voyager was about to be launched, and the project had just realized that they really didn't have enough staff to operate the spacecraft. I arrived as a summer intern, and within a few days, I realized that I loved that work and I wanted to stay and work on Voyager.
Candice joined the team just as the Voyager probes were launched and began their journeys into space, passing Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus.
To be able to work on a spacecraft that was going to planets for the first time was amazing. The spacecraft would be approaching a planet that we only knew through telescopes. We only knew as bright points of light in the sky.
Alongside their scientific instruments, each probe had a golden record, a message to any extraterrestrial civilization that might find them.
Hello from the children of planet Earth.
The Voyager probes took advantage of a rare geometric alignment of the planet that allowed them to swing from one planet to the next without using rockets. As the spacecraft flew for
This is Starr Radio UK.
You are listening to Starr Radio Morning Show.
Friend Urush from Sendwave. Sendwave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With Sendwave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, Sendwave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use Sendwave? Sendwave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about Sendwave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Hey, Charlie. You're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy. You stressed out. Tired? Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy. JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Best radio show. The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is
UK.
Starr Radio
UK.
This is Starr Radio
UK.
Welcome. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio.
The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
Welcome.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade, Jesus, and that's what makes you great. You hold the world in your hands, the hand that made.
Okay, let me say a massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth and those of you on other planets as well. I want to salute each and every one of you and welcome you to the Monday edition of the Morning Show. Today is the 8th day of January, the year 2024, with the time now exactly at 10:45 from the heart of London. I am yours sincerely, the one and only.
This is the morning show with Archie.
From now till 12:30, I'm going to be your captain. I'm going to take you through all the airspace, wherever you are, to the destination of knowing what exactly is going on across the globe. So wherever you are, sit up, buckle up. If you are standing, hold on to something though. Our time it gets bumpy. Yeah. But we are rest assured of one thing for sure, that you're going to get to your destination. But let me say good morning this morning to Olayomi Casino. Hey, our special envoy in Moscow. Massive good morning to you, Samsudin. Massive good morning to you. To my colleague, Mr. Olayomi, Koiki, and my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy. I salute each and every one of you. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Thanks. Massive good morning to you and your family. Yes, Coach D, good morning to you. Bishop Adesina, good morning. Anthony Adedeji, Aziz. Olakunle. Rachel, Pastor Momo, Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, and all you wonderful people who tune in to listen to us religiously, I say, and also who once in a while nip in to say hello to us. We wish you all a Happy New Year if I haven't wished you from there, but I wish you a very wonderful day and a blessed week as well. But wherever you are listening to us from, this is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So if it's the first time of tuning in to listen to us, this is how the program will go for today. I'm going to bring you the code for the day, the weather forecast, the follow suit, then the travel update. We move from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. It's known as Global Trotting. And then after that, at 11 o'clock, we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who will be joining in to bring you all the updates that you need to know from Nigeria. After that, at 12 o'clock, the lines are open for you to add your voice to the discussions. We continue from there, looking at some of the other stories there as well. Jesus. Across the globe, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar, is making the headlines. Why not? I promise you one thing for sure that we're going to touch on it. Then exactly at the hand that made me who I am. 12:30, I bring the curtains down for the end of the program. Come next week, God willing, we'll be resuming Career 101 with Linda Pallier. So wherever you are, stay tuned, don't touch the dial. But let me say good morning to Linda Pallier, and baby Ya Asan to our queen, Jean, Mr. Pallier. Good morning to you all in Cyprus. And wherever you are listening to us from, UAE, Nigeria, wherever, whatever, whoever, we wish you a very good week. So let's crack on. The quote for the day says, you cannot talk about wanting to be successful if you lack the ability to discover your purpose. If you lack the ability to discover your purpose, you cannot say you want to be successful. So you need to discover your purpose, and you work on the way how to get there. You agree with me? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Now moving on straight to the weather front. What has the weather got in store for us today?
Love for you runs deep.
Wow, for London and the side of England, this is how the weather is going to be. We woke up this morning with a very chill weather, yeah. Well, this afternoon we'll see that odd brighter break between areas of cloud, wintry showers will continue to drift in from the east with a chance of snow to lower level locally. Now this evening we'll see a few lingering wintry showers in places, but as the night progresses, cloud will gradually clear westward with clear spells developing. Till the end. The temperature is going to be 4 degrees, the lowest is going to be 2 degrees, it's going to be sleet and snow, sleet showers, and a moderate breeze there as well. UV level low, pollution low, sunset 16 10 hours, and 0 for tomorrow morning, 08 04 hours. This is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Greatly to be praised. Now moving on straight to the travel this morning. So on the underground this morning, Bakerloo line has got minor delays, Central line part suspension and minor delays there, District line minor delays, Piccadilly severe delays and minor delays. All the others are running a good service. DLR, London Tram Link, London Overground, good service there as well. That takes us straight to the major roads in London. And what is happening on the major roads in London? Well, apart from 8 that got serious delays, all the others have got no exceptional delays. Well, we are back to it. Well, the Woolsbury has got a suspension there, but other side, all the other underground apologies, river baths are in good service. And London Cable Car good service there, bringing us straight to the National Rail. So on the National Rail this morning, cross country have got minor delays, Great Western Railway minor delays, Island Line minor delays, ScotRail minor delays, and Transport for Wales minor delays. So that's how I will say it once again, as I will normally do. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, whatever you might do on planet Earth. Enjoy your community, but you know what? Continue to get those eyes where? On the road. Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business, but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
You are listening to Starr Radio Morning Show.
Okay, welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. It's now 10:52. That is 8 minutes to the top of the hour, and therefore we are on Global Trotting. My apologies. Okay, so when it comes to some of the stories making the rounds in other parts of the world, let's start it from here. Okay, from the UK front. Now, call for mass appeal to quash post office conviction. A former minister says there should be a mass case for the hundreds of convicted in the Horizon scandal. And snow to hit southeast England as flooding persists. Southeast England will bear the brunt of snow and sleet as more than 150 flood warnings stay in places. There are some stories making the rounds there. Idris Elba is also on the path of fighting knife crime, and it says ban zombie knives and machetes. Now the actor teams up with victims' families to demand action and releases a single called Knives Down. Well, I'll try to see whether we can get that to play for you. And Kate Garraway thanks public after Draper's death. Now, Kate Garraway says messages of support mean so much after the death of her husband, Derek Draper. I knew who my burglar was. Police did nothing. Well, people are calling into question the police response to crimes of that sort. Are they looking down on anything? You know what? That's not that serious. We've got some serious things to look about. Well. Okay, moving on to other stories making the rounds as well in other parts of the world. Oppenheimer and Succession sweep Golden Globes, and then US playing had warnings days before mid blowout. Yeah, I saw that story. That was it Sunday morning or Saturday? And I was like, boy, oh boy, the jet involved in Friday's incident had been prevented from long trips over water. Well, I think heads to roll. Now, lift off. Watch moment rocket launches towards the moon. The Vulcan rocket lifted off from Cape Canaveral with the Peregrine robotic lander on board. And then Apple pays out over claims it slowed down iPhones. Oh boy. The tech giant is compensating US customers and faces similar allegations in the UK as well. Bring it on. In other stories as well, a sad one from there. When I say a sad one, church leader abused and raped disciples. That is what the BBC is saying. And who are they talking about? TB Joshua. Okay, forced abortions and other atrocities are allegedly by dozens of ex-followers of a charismatic tele-evangelist there as well. Making the stories, making the rounds this morning. When it comes to Nigeria ranks 22nd for cheapest petrol. That's what the report is saying. That's quite an interesting one. And BBC releases explosive investigative documentary with reports of sexual assaults. Femi Falana presses Tinubu's minister Betta Edu for explanation on 585 million naira. And PDP G5 will support Tinubu's re-election in 2027. Autumn is saying, well, they're trying to make sure that they don't get the position anyway close to the house, the presidential palace. Some of the stories making the round. Let me say good morning to Julia Macapella. Yes, Happy New Year to you, and we love you to bits, and thank you very much for your support all over the years. Okay, EFCC did not take any from our offices, says Dangote. It's one of the stories. And Tinubu celebrates Jagri, Mele, Kiari, Zak Adedeji on their birthdays. Summer stories making the rounds there. Now, moving on to some other parts of Africa as well. In Ethiopia. Now, the Orthodox Christians are celebrating their Christmas Day. It's quite an interesting one. And in Egypt as well, President El-Sisi joins Coptic Orthodox Christians at Christmas Eve Mass. Okay. And then, as war in Gaza enters third month, EU top diplomat urges to make two-state solution a reality. Do you think that will ever happen? No, some more stories making the rounds. A Kenya-led multinational forces headed to Haiti to face major hurdles, report is saying. Now, I've been saying this all the time, that those who are in that vicinity, when I say those who are in that vicinity, in the Caribbean areas, they know that particular area. Why haven't they brought, or gotten a security or a group of people to go in there to help curb whatever thing that is going on? You're taking people from Kenya who don't have a clue of what is going on there. But, well, the US is there, other countries are there. I don't see anything of the sort happening, but we'll tell you more about that as well. And then USA's South Africa's court case accusing Israel of genocide is meritless. The stories making the rounds. In Libya, the flooding disaster could have been avoided, experts have said. And I did say that from the beginning, but I was saying, had there been Gaddafi still around those areas, he would have seen to it that it was repaired, or seen to it that things have been put together nicely. But that didn't happen. The former Gambian minister under Jammeh to face trial. Okay, we'll be telling you where. But where is Jammeh? Why is he not facing any trial? Well, still making the rounds across the globe. Now, when it comes to Ghana as well, some of the other stories making the rounds there. Stop actions that undermine democratic rights, Mahama to the government. What actions are they talking about there? We'll tell you more about that. Howard Kumsin refused claims of a man attacking Cape FM journalist. When it comes to politics in Africa, oh boy. Well, the less you say, I think the better, right? Okay, in other stories making the rounds as well, Dagbe celebrates Dagab Willie's Sion Tabo Festival of the Upper West region, and some stories making the rounds there as well. And then moving on straight to some of the one more story from there, and then we can take a musical break and continue. And this time round, from where? Okay, just bear with me whilst I get it all loaded up. Resolve election disputes through court, Baumia urges political actors. It is quite an interesting one because when we talk about this, it stems from the fact that we see the judiciary being some way, somehow, let me put it mildly, or for lack of words, in the pockets of government, or in cahoots with government. And therefore, when there is an election and they say, go to the court to seek redress, they know that when they go to the courts, everything from the word go is, virtually you've lost the case before if you decided to even take your evidence or whatever you have there. But some of them view that, well, that is what is going to happen. But the vice president in Ghana is saying that, well, if you have a case or situation pertaining to the election that is going to be taking place sometime in December, is it 3rd December or whatever, 2024, go to the courts. Will he go to the court? Well, lots more going to be coming your way from here. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial. A minute after 11 the time, we're going to take a musical break. And once we come back, we should have Miss Olayomi Koiki joining in. So stay tuned. Don't touch the dial whilst we get ourselves ready to take a break.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Promise keeper, light in darkness, my God, that is who
smartphone.
Okay, I bring you the tune from the Joyful Way Incorporated, and it says Nyamiye. That means God is good. Whatever the situation is, God is still good. Enjoy it, and I'll be with you. Once I get a song playing there, Juliana says something that is how can Kenya solve Haiti problems when it cannot deal with its own problem? Do we not see the problem we have? That's heavy, and I think that is true there as well, because that's what I'm saying. They have all got their own problems that they are not able to solve, yet they want to go out there to go. I don't know why the Caribbean nation is not contributing people. Why is the US that is closer to them, that is the biggest economy there, not contributing people to that place? See, to quell whatever is going on, because when people feel they need to free from that particular place, they head towards the US. Why are they not doing anything about it? Enjoy the song from the Joyful Way Incorporated. God is good. Nyamiye in trade.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone. On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
No
This is Starr Radio UK.
In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
Friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business. The show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I think we're having a connectivity issue with Miss Olayomi Koiki, so we'll do our best to see if the engineers can get in touch with him or get connected with him so that we can bring him on. However, some of the stories that we're going to be looking at from Nigeria, with updates from Nigeria, coming at a later time of 12 minutes past 11, the time, Starr Radio UK, the station. And what have I got for you? Well. Now, information coming through says that Femi Falana has pressed Beta Edu for explanation on 585 million naira transfer into private account. Now, Femi Falana has reacted to the fraud allegations leveled against the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Beta Edu. The lawyer has urged Tinubu's minister to stop insulting Nigerians following her claims that the allegation of 585 million fraud were untrue. Now, Edu came under heat recently after a leaked memo exposed instructions to transfer a substantial sum to a private account, leading to a widespread criticism in her ministry. Now, let me bring you more on that front. But Tinubu has directed, that's the president, following the recent circulation the recent circulating narratives on payments made by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, President Bola Tinubu has directed a thorough investigation to ascertain the accuracy and validity of the allegation. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, in a statement said President Tinubu is committed to ensuring that public funds are allocated and utilized effectively and efficiently to address the needs of Nigerians. He said the government is determined to unravel the truth as it relates to this matter and assures that appropriate actions will be taken to ensure that any breaches and infractions are identified and decisively punished in the line with the administration's commitment to public accountability and due process. Now, in light of recent events, the president has directed a thorough and comprehensive investigation be conducted to ascertain the accuracy and validity of the reported details. The government is determined to unravel the truth as it relates to the matter and assures that appropriate action will be taken to ensure that any breaches and infractions are identified and decisively punished in line with administration's commitment to public accountability and the due process, as I did say earlier. And the public is advised to note, against the backdrop of the various unverified narratives circulating on the internet, that the Ministry of Information and National Orientation, under the leadership of Minister Mohammed Idris, is the primary source for verified information about events and actions of the federal government of Nigeria. Only accurate details will be shared with the public. The ministry is committed to providing timely updates to keep Nigerians informed about the progress of the investigation. We urge Nigerians to exercise patience as investigation unfolds. The government is focused on ensuring a fair and unbiased process, and the findings will be communicated duly and transparently to the public, the statement had said. Well, there was one story that I did capture, but has been, taken off or taken down, whichever is appropriate. Whatever is appropriate, it's been either taken down or taken off. But it says that, well, they taken me off it, so I can't actually be able to read that out. But it says fraud inquiry humanitarian affairs minister has arrived at the EFCC headquarters, and that's information coming through there for you. It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay. Now, moving on to some of the other stories making the rounds this morning before we take a break, because I know there are some people trying to get in touch with us here, but we'll do our best. Adeniji Ganu, good morning to you. Adeniji, I hope you are doing very, very well there. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, so moving on to some of the other stories making the round this morning. Nigeria ranks 22nd for cheapest petrol. That's what the report is saying. A recent report titled Global Petrol Prices, Octane 95, January 1, 2024 has highlighted the substantial discrepancies in gasoline prices worldwide, positioning Nigeria as the 22nd country with the most affordable petrol on a global scale. It's quite interesting, isn't it? Because Nigerians this morning will be waking up and saying, is that the cheapest that we are getting whilst we are dying? Then talk less if it was the highest. Well, the report accessible on their website highlights the average global gasoline price at $1.29 per liter, drawing attention to the significant variation influenced by individual countries, diverse taxes, and subsidies. The average price of gasoline around the world is $1.29 US per liter. However, there is substantial differences in these prices among countries. As a general rule, richer countries have higher prices, while poorer countries and the countries that produce and export oil have significantly lower prices. One notable exception is the US, which is an economically advanced country but has low gas prices. The differences in prices across countries are due to the various taxes and subsidies for gasoline. All countries have access to the same petroleum prices of international markets, but then decides to impose different taxes as a result. The retail prices of gasoline is different, the report said. Iran secures the top spot for offering the world's cheapest gasoline at a remarkably low price of $0.029, which is equivalent to 26.52 naira per liter, while Hong Kong leads with the highest price recorded, that is $3.101 per liter, approximately. Quite an interesting one, isn't it? Okay, let's take a quick break and I will be with you. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK. And let me take this opportunity to say Happy New Year to Alicia Hickson. I hope you are doing very, very well there as well. Okay. And now, Miss Donna Takia boy. Princess, good morning to you. I hope you are doing well as well. Okay. So now let's crack on. Let's look at some of the other stories that is making the rounds. So you look at the varieties there. Okay, so notably major oil producing nations such as Libya, Venezuela, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia enjoy considerably low domestic fuel costs. So why is Nigeria not being able to do that? Iran leads the list of 0.29, as I did say. Hong Kong is the highest, $3.1 per liter. Nations like Monaco and Norway exhibit consistently higher petrol prices. Now, within the context, Nigeria is positioned at $0.722, which is quite comparable to what we pay here in the UK. But somebody said that you earn more than they do, right? Okay, per liter, highlighting its status among the countries offering affordable petrol. Now, other notable prices mentioned include the United States, which sells at 0.911 per liter, Brazil at 1.150, approximately 1,000 naira, and India at $1.25. Now, despite Nigeria facing challenges in meeting anticipated oil producing levels, it maintains its position as Africa's largest oil producer, contributing an average of 1.37 million barrels per day as of November 2023. But the question once again is, why aren't we being able to allow our refineries to work the way they're supposed to be so that citizens can have a better, at least because people are using that because our electricity back there is not stable, so people now have to depend on generators or plants to run their businesses. I don't know. We have blanket sunshine, right? Let me put it that way, from the north to the south. However, we're not utilizing it. So why does government not lift a ban? Let's allow people, tax-free to, if you're doing it domestically, to get solar panels on their buildings. And again, because of the way we put up our buildings, we see that it's going to be difficult for even you to fit solar panels on that. But it's all an interesting one there. So I ask our leaders, do you have the interests of your people at heart? Really, really, really? But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. Now, PDP G5 will support Tinubu's re-election in 2027. Autumn is saying. The immediate past governor of Benue State, Samuel Autumn, has described plans by the G5 of the integrity group in the People's Democratic Party to support President Bola Tinubu in 2027 if he decides to seek re-election in office. Now, the president was sworn in not more than, it's just 6 months plus, right? Now, Autumn made a disclosure on Sunday at a luncheon hosted by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, held in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. The G5 includes Autumn Wike, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, former Governor of Enugu State, Ifeanyi Ogwanyi, and the immediate past Governor of Abia State, Okezi Ikwezo. The group within the PDP worked against the party's presidential election candidate, Atiku Abubakar, in the February 25, 2023 presidential election and supported Tinubu, a Southern candidate who eventually emerged as winner of the poll. Israelites recall that the former Benue governor supported Peter Obi, presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 election, and also failed to secure victory in its senatorial elections. Autumn said on Sunday that the G5 has no regret for supporting Tinubu in the presidential election, while Wike had in November 2023 said he will not contest for presidency in 2027 if President Tinubu decides to seek re-election in the office. Autumn said the immediate past governor of Rivers State had declared that the group will support President Tinubu in 2027. He said, our leader Nyesom Wike has already made a declaration that in 2027 we are supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We have nowhere to go because that is what Nigerians believe. Even the past administration that took Nigeria from top to bottom, we allowed them to work for 8 years. So why can't a seasoned administrator, the President Bola Tinubu, rule us for 8 years? It's quite interesting, isn't it? Because he's seeing what he is making or he's getting out of that. So that's what he would say. But listeners, this is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And that is where we bring the updates from Nigeria to a close there. We're going to take a break and some music. And then once we come back, but let's take the music first. And once we come back, we will continue from there. Stay tuned and don't you go away.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Hey, Charlie, you're on your way to Ghana. Boy, oh boy, you stressed out, tired. Go, you're going to be resting. Okay, then let me recommend to you JN Mobile Spa in Accra, Ghana. Oh boy, JN Mobile Spa, they provide organic care in massage. Are you stressed? Do you need rejuvenated, etc.? For your facials, maybe exfoliating, firming, and lifting? Then contact JN Spa on 00233 244 941 002 or 00233 2006 06386, and they will be right there on time. JN Mobile Spa, your health and beauty needs at your doorstep.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
It's like my favorite song on this album, y'all. There's no secret in our world. People like to talk the things they know and the ones they don't. They will spread lies and rumors just to be known. So why are you wasting your time like this? Hearing those things that break your heart. Give no attention, give no thoughts. Cause people talk, but they'll never help you walk. So whenever they speak, look up and you will see a broken pencil and a sheet. And tell them, say, I'm writing names of talkatives. Yeah.
All of this noise you're making on me. Teacher will get you when he comes. I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
I'm writing names of talkatives.
I'm writing names of talkatives.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
all of
9.
this noise you're making on me.
Teacher, get there when he comes.
Teacher will get you when he comes. I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
There are many voices in this life, and to be honest, many are not nice. So don't hear something and pick a knife, cause most of these things are nothing but lies. Teacher said be careful how you hear, cause there are talkatives here. They're everywhere. So silence the voices in your head and give no attention to your fears. I'm writing
names of talkatives. All of this voice you're making on me.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
This is Starr Radio, UK.
I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
I'm writing names of talkatives.
I'm writing names of talkatives.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Well, you gotta write the names of the talkatives, you know. I always say it all the time. Constructive criticism. Anyone that's making too much noise, though, just ignore that and just continue to do what you are doing. Knowing that is good. You need to be convicted, though, right? Yes, you have that conviction within your spirit and know that what I'm doing is right and you get on with it. All right? Yes. Listeners, it's Starr Radio UK. This is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, 1136 from the heart of London. Those stories were ones that came from Nigeria this morning. But now let's move on to other parts of the world to look at some of the other stories making the rounds. Now, in the UK front, where I'll bring you first before we move on to other parts of the world. Now, Idris Elba, one of the black actors, Idris Elba is calling on the government to immediately ban the sale of so-called zombie knives. Now, I don't know how people can come by that zombie knives. But if you look at the way internet sales and everything that seem to be going on, and the question is, why do they need those knives? Why do they need them? Okay, but the story says, now Idris Elba is calling on the government to immediately ban the sale of the so-called zombie knives and machetes to reduce the number of young people losing their lives. The Luther Star told the BBC a planned law change to bring in the ban needs to be fast-tracked. He accused politicians of not giving the issue a focus it deserves. The government said it remains committed to further intervention measures. It said it is banning zombie-style knives and added more knives carrying criminals are being given tougher sentences. And what are those tougher sentences? Now, zombie knives are defined as weapons having a cutting edge, serrated edge, and images or words suggesting they are used for violence. Now, they were first added to the government's list of prohibited offensive weapons in 2016, but Labour has said a loophole allowing the sale of knives online still exists. In last August, Rishi Sunak unveiled plans to ban more of the weapons and give police extra powers to seize machetes and zombie knives. The latest move is also designed to help police with situations which fall outside the current laws. In particular, police have been unable to deal with zombie knives designed to get around the 2016 definition by not having images or words. That suggests it is to be used for the purpose of violence. So, let me put it this way. So now you cannot use a gun. So I have this one. Let's say I assume that this is a gun, right? Because it's not, this is my spectacles case. But because it's not, it's got Specsavers on it, we say, okay, this is a banned one. So if they take the Specsavers from it, the name is taken away from it. Does that mean that it makes it, it's not as dangerous or wouldn't do the work that this case is supposed to do? That is the question. So the fact that it's not got a name on it doesn't necessarily mean that it cannot be used for the ill that it was created or it was made to be used for. But well, I don't know. But what do you think about that? If you suffered such a loss from knife crime, I think you will frown on what is going on. But it's not clear when the new law will come into force. Clothes to represent the victims of knife crimes are being displayed in London's Parliament Square on Monday. Organizers hope the bundles of clothes will provide a visual demonstration of the huge human cost of knife crimes to MPs returning from the Christmas recess. The event is part of Elber's Don't Stop Your Future campaign, which works with local communities and well-known brands to try to tackle serious violence. London-born Elber said he can't stay silent as young lives are lost to brutal and heartless and, let me put it this way, senseless crimes that seem to be going on. So this morning, Yemi Hughes, whose 19-year-old son Andre Aderemi was murdered in 2016, has given her support to Elber's campaign and has donated the outfit her son was wearing when he was killed. Sad one there. But maybe if that is something that will help, then why not? But the question is, if we get the police having or the MPs coming into Parliament resuming, and then they see that, oh yeah, you've done that. Have we actually communicated to those who are actually perpetrating the crime? How do we deal with that? Our communities, how do we deal with such a situation? Our churches, our mosques, various gatherings that we do gather. How do we deal with this menace? You are a parent. You know that your child is involved in that. But I don't know whether you are also scared of the child and therefore you cannot make any noise. Or you are scared that if you go say it, well, the police are going to come after and then all that. But as a good book says, you live by the sword, then you die by the sword. I'm not saying that everyone who has lost their lives pertaining to knife crimes have lost their life because they live by that. No, far from it. By the consequences of the action of these individuals who are perpetrating such ill, you throw them in jail, they come back and they become more notorious. just a handful of them are ones who go there and have a turnaround. But maybe if you are listening to me this morning or this afternoon, you might have a suggestion of how you think that we can deal with this menace that is going on in our communities, especially the black communities. All right then. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So kudos to Idris, and I hope that he's doing everything possible to get the necessary attention that this demands. Now, in other stories making the rounds across the globe. Now, just last week, there was this drama pertaining to what happened when it came to the post office back in the day. Now, hundreds of sub-postmasters convicted in the post office Horizon scandal should be able to submit a mass appeal, former cabinet minister has said. Sir David Davis, who is seeking to question ministers about the issue, told the BBC that there was no real reason why there could not be a mass case. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer has also said all cases need to be revisited. Now, ministers are meeting on Monday to consider ways of clearing the names of hundreds of sub-postmasters. Between 1999 and 2015, more than 700 post office branch managers were convicted of false accounting, theft, and fraud based on faulty Horizon software. Now, some sub-postmasters wrongfully went to prison. Many were financially ruined. Some have since died. It has been described as the most widespread miscarriage of justice in British history. But to date, fewer than 100 people have had their convictions overturned. Now, while the scandal has been public knowledge for some time, an ITV drama, Mr. Bates versus the Post Office, which aired last week, has thrust the issue back into the spotlight. Now, speaking to the BBC, Sir David said the drama had galvanized a response to the scandal. There are now tens of millions of people who care about this, care a lot. This case a lot. They are furious in many cases. At present, all cases are considered individually, but Sir David said all of the cases depend on one single lie, and that is nobody but the postmasters and mistresses who access their computers. We now know that to be untrue. I see no real reason, no logical reason you can't have a mass case, mass appeal on that basis. Sir David and Labour MP Kevin Jones are among those hoping to scrutinize a minister in the House of Commons, which is reassembling on today for the first time since the Christmas recess. Now, it's quite an interesting one, a case where because of faulty computers, people they said that, oh, you lost this set of amount, or you've taken this set of amount from your accounts or from the business. Meanwhile, the people have taken nothing. But they said, there you go on, click that, and you click, and then boom, then it just goes negative. You've lost out. It's like those who gamble, you know. But it's quite interesting what has gone down there, and I hope that listeners, we will all put our support or back in there to make sure that whatever is there is resolved. Starr Radio UK, and to those who have lost their lives because of this, we wish their families our condolences, and may their souls rest in perfect peace, because they were lied about. They didn't have the chance to defend themselves, and they lost their lives. Okay. The leader of the Democratic Unionist Party has said his party is still in talks with the UK government. In December, the Northern Ireland Secretary said negotiations aimed at restoring devolved government were over. Now, pointing to a 3.3 billion financial package if the executives return, Chris Heaton Harris said it was time for decisions. But on Monday, Sir Geoffrey Donaldson said the talks will continue. I will be talking to the UK government this week. And the idea that they're not willing to talk is simply not true, Sir Geoffrey said this morning. We hope to hear from them when we meet them this week on what further progress has been made. They are discussions of substance. They are not some form of play acting. I want to make progress in the weeks ahead so that we can see Northern Ireland placed within the UK and its internal market restored, and we have sustainable basis for restoring our political institutions. But you know, they are a funny bunch of people, you know, because when they were in government, they thought, whatever policy, whatever agreement that was done, okay, let's get on. They went for elections, they lost the majority, and then they said, you know what, we see a fault with whatever agreement that was. But you were the ones who were there while those agreements were being reached. Why didn't you back out of there? At that time, why didn't you say we're not going to sit? But when Sinn Féin won that election, now you say, no, we're not going to be sitting. We think that whatever negotiation that went on was wrong. But what do you think about all that? This is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Moving on to other parts of the world as well. Now, stories coming your way. Medics pool, and that's pertaining to the war in Gaza. The International Rescue Committee says it has pulled its medics from the only functioning hospital in central Gaza. The IRC says increasing military action means it has to protect its staff and warns many more Palestinians would die without medical care. The move follows the cancellation of a World Health Organization-backed mission to bring medical supplies into northern Gaza. Elsewhere, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is holding talks with leaders of the Gulf Arab states, the UAE and Saudi Arabia before traveling to Israel. Now, Blinken has said Palestinians must not be pressured into leave Gaza, following comments by right-wing Israeli politicians. The Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry said 73 Palestinians were killed and 99 injured by Israeli strikes in the past 24 hours. At least 1,200 people were killed when Hamas attacked Israel on the 7th of October, and about 240 others were taken hostage. The Gaza Health Ministry, run by Hamas, says more than 22,800 people have been killed in the territory since Israel started its retaliatory campaign. So what is the end game now? Where do we think, or how do we think things are going to pan out? It is all coming away from Starr Radio Station. We talk about a two-state solution, but I'm not sure what exactly is going on there. Do you think that is possible? Can we have a two-state solution there? Well. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, so now let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds there as well. An Indian court, 11 men have been freed early after being found guilty of a gang raping a pregnant Muslim woman must be returned to prison. Now, Indian Supreme Court has said. Now, part of a Hindu mob, the men were serving life terms for the attack on Bilkis Banu, as well as the murder of 14 of her family members during anti-Muslim riots in Gujarat state in 2002. However, they were released in August 2022 by order of Gujarat's government. The order and the celebration as they left prison caused global outrage. Mr. Bano told the Supreme Court in a petition that the release of the men had shaken the conscience of the society, calling it one of the most gruesome crimes this country has ever seen. She said the release had left her shell-shocked and completely numb. The two-judge Supreme Court bench, headed by Justice B.V. Nagaratna, said the state of Gujarat was not competent to pass the remission order in the case since the men had been tried and convicted in the court in the neighboring state of Maharashtra. The bench added that since the government's remission order had been nullified, the 11 convicts must return to prison within 2 weeks. Now, justice encompasses not just the right of the convicts, but also the right of the victims, and the primary duty of the court is to uphold justice and the rule of law, Justice Nagaratna said, adding that the rule of law must be preserved, unmindful of the ripples of the consequences. The landmark judgment is expected to create ripples, especially in Gujarat, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi was chief minister at the time of the riots and was criticized for not doing enough to prevent the carnage. He has always denied wrongdoing and has not apologized for what happened in the riots. Now, Gujarat State supported the release of the men sentenced for attacking Bilkis Bano and her family. Officials said in court that the men, first convicted by a trial court in 2008, had spent more than 14 years in jail and were released after factors such as their age and good behavior in prison were taken into consideration. The state government said it had sought the federal government's approval, which was granted by the Home Ministry led by Mr. Modi's close aide, Amit Shah. Now, when the men were freed in 2022, they were given a hero's welcome as they stepped out of the jail in Godhra, with relatives giving them sweets and touching their feet to show respect. The federal prosecutors have said they should not be released prematurely and no leniency may be shown to them as their crime was heinous, grave, and serious. Days after her attackers were freed, Bilkis Bano said the decision to release them has shaken her faith in justice. How can justice for a woman end like this? I trusted the highest court in our land. I trusted the system, and I was learning slowly to live with my trauma, she wrote, appealing to the Gujarat government to undo this harm. The attack on Miss Bano and her family was one of the most horrific crimes during the riots, which began after 60 Hindu pilgrims died in a fire on a passenger train in the town of Godhra. Now, blaming Muslims for starting the fire, Hindu mob attacked Muslim neighborhoods. Over 3 days, more than 1,000 people died, and most of them Muslims. The morning after the train fire, Miss Bano, then 19 and pregnant with her second child, was visiting her parents in a village called Radikpur near Godhra with her 3-year-old daughter. When the rioters attacked their village and started setting Muslim homes on fire, she and her 16 relatives went on the run. In 2017, over the night, few days, they sought shelter in mosques or subsisting on the kindness of Hindu neighbors. On the morning of the 3rd of March 2002, a group of men attacked them with swords and sticks. One of them snatched my daughter from my lap and threw her on the ground, bashing her head into a rock. Her attackers, who were her neighbors, men she had seen almost daily while growing up. They tore off her clothes and several of them raped her, ignoring her pleas for mercy. Her cousin, who had given birth 2 days earlier, was raped and murdered. A newborn baby killed too. Bilkis Bano survived because she lost consciousness and her attackers left believing she was dead. 2 boys, 7 or 4, were the only other survivors of the massacre. Her fight for justice had been long and nightmarish. It has been well documented that some priests have stated, police and the state official tried to intimidate her. Evidence was destroyed and the dead were buried without post-mortem exams. The doctors who examined her said she hadn't been raped and she received death threats. It is unthinkable. So I think I agree with the courts in India, the Supreme Court, that has said that these people should be brought back or taken back to jail. Listeners, this is Star Radio UK. This is the Monday edition of the morning show. At exactly 2 minutes to the top of the hour, I remain yours sincerely, Archie. Now, last Friday, there was a story of a plane that had its door blown out. Now, 2 phones and a door plug. These are some of the items found in Oregon days after Alaska Airlines flight 1282 lost part of its fuselage at 16,000 feet. The Boeing 737 MAX 9 made a safe emergency landing on the 5th of January after an outer section of the plane blew off minutes into the flight from Portland. None of the 177 people on board were seriously injured, the story says. But the search continues for the lost belonging and parts thought to include a cushion from the seat immediately next to the blown out section of the fuselage, which was thankfully unoccupied. One of the key missing items, the door plug, was found by a local school teacher named Bob, according to U.S. National Transportation Safety Board, the NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy. The discovery came after officials from the NTSB asked the public for help finding the door plug, 27 kilogram, that's 60 pounds piece of fuselage with a window that can be used as an emergency exit in certain configurations. They believe the door could have landed around Barnes Road near Oregon 217 and the Cedar Hills neighborhood based on radar data. Now, information coming through during a news conference, Ms. Homendy said Bob sent in a picture of the missing piece, which ended up in his backyard in Portland. I can just see the outside of the door plug from the picture, the white portions, Ms. Homendy said there. But you look at that picture, and I think it took the grace of God that nobody was seriously hurt. I mean, people would definitely be hurt, but people didn't lose their lives there. But this all coming away from Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. One other story before we land on the African continent. A Gambian former interior minister has gone on trial in Switzerland, being charged with crimes against humanity. Osman Sonko fled there in 2016 shortly before Gambia President Yahya Jammeh, accused of heading a repressive regime, lost power. Mr. Sonko, 54, was arrested after a non-governmental organization presented evidence of his alleged involvement in killing, rape, and torture. But his lawyer said that he was not responsible for what happened. Philippe Korat is quoted by the AFP, its news agency, as saying that the Gambia's National Intelligence Agency, which was never under his authority, was behind the alleged crimes. Switzerland is trying to the case under the principle of universal jurisdiction, which allows countries to prosecute people on their territory, even though the events may have taken place elsewhere. Mr. Sonko is the highest ranking government official ever to be prosecuted under the principle in Europe. Now, human rights groups believe the trial taking place in the southern Swiss city of Bellinzona could be a warning to repressive governments everywhere that the arm of the law can be very long indeed. Switzerland's charge sheet against Mr. Sonko is extensive. It includes the participation in or ordering of killing, torture, and rape, or targeting political opponents. This could constitute crime against humanity under Swiss law. Now, Swiss investigators traveled to the Gambia and interviewed dozens of alleged victims and witnesses. 9 will be in court to testify. From 1996 to 2016, the Gambia was ruled by President Yahya Jammeh, whose time in office, according to Human Rights Watch, was characterized by widespread abuses, including forced disappearance and extrajudicial killings. Mr. Sonko was Mr. Jammeh's right-hand man. His role as Interior Minister, putting him in charge of the security services, including allegedly a sinister paramilitary group known as the Jungles. So, can Yahya Jammeh also be brought to justice? After 6 trips to the Gambia and 40 interviews with the complainants, the Swiss Attorney General drew up the charge sheet. This is the only second time the Switzerland had ever tried someone under universal jurisdiction for crimes against humanity. The first case in June 2023 saw former Liberian militia leader Aliu Kozia sentenced to 20 years for crimes including rape, murder, and cannibalism. The other countries are also bringing cases against former members of Mr. Jammeh's regime. In October, Germany handed a life sentence for crimes against humanity to Bae Lowe, a one-time member of the Jungles. Later this year, a court in the U.S. state of Colorado will begin the trial of an alleged former member of the same group. Wow. It's quite an interesting one, isn't it? They can try to run off or flee into some spaces, but some way, somehow, they will still be brought to justice. But this is all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, and it's now 5 minutes past the top of the hour. But a final story from the world front before we go to the African continent as well. Now, Apple has begun making payments in a long-running class action lawsuit over claims it deliberately slowed down certain iPhones in the U.S. Complainants receive a cut of $500 million settlement, which works out to around $92 per claim. Now, Apple agreed to settle the lawsuit in 2020, stating at the time it denied any wrongdoing but was concerned with the costs of continuing litigation. A similar case underway in the UK is seeking $1.6 billion in compensation. The US case dates back to December 2017 when Apple confirmed a long-held suspicion among phone owners by admitting it had deliberately slowed down some iPhones as they got older. It said that as batteries age, their performance decreased, and so they slowed down, lengthened the phone's lifespan. Interesting. Well, if you've got an Apple phone, well, maybe a chance there for you. Those of you in the UK, maybe you'll be lucky, right? Okay. So it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We're going to be taking a break, and then once we come back, I'll take you to the African front, where Libya, then a flooding disaster, could have been avoided. That's what experts are saying. And then Egypt President El-Sisi joins Coptic Orthodox Christians to celebrate Christmas. And then Somali President signed law nullifying illegal Ethiopia contract deal with the Somaliland as well. So, what do you think can happen? Or what do you think is going to happen? And then, Kenyan-led multinational force headed to Haiti to help fight or combat insurrections or anything that is going on there, crimes and name it. And then, yes, so stay tuned, don't touch the dial. Starr Radio UK is the station, the morning show, the program. Let's take a quick break and I will be with you.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medase.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business. The show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now exactly at 10 minutes past 12. So we've got another 20 minutes to bring the program to a close. But tomorrow, BB Clement will be back on BB Means Business Live. And so he says, say hi to AI. Happy New Year. He says, join me tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. as my guest, accomplished serial entrepreneur Sandra Ramsey-Nicole, shares from her new book, How to Use AI in Your Small Business. How can AI help me in my small business? You want to know more? Make sure you join BB Clement and her guest, Sandra Ramsey-Nicole. All right then. Yes, join them on all the platforms that Starr Radio UK provides, and I can tell you assuredly that it will be a good show for you. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds this morning. Okay. Yes. Now, moving on straight to the African continent to look at what is happening there, as well as I did say earlier on. My apologies for not being able to bring Miss Olayomi Koiki your way. Well, it was due to a technical issue, so we'll do our best to get that sorted out. Now, Senegal's top opposition leader on Friday suffered a major setback in his quest to contest the presidency when the top court upheld the defamation convict against him, and Constitutional Council rejected his application to be presidential candidate on the basis that it was incomplete. Osman Sonko's application case of the council was examined without his representative in a flagrant violation of the law before it was rejected, his lawyer Cyril Cledo Lee said. Now, from the outset of the government, it has shown its willingness to invalidate Osman Sonko's candidacy. The council's decision came hours after the Supreme Court rejected the jailed opposition leader's appeal of his conviction for defamation after being sued by a government minister. The trial was seen as the latest twist in the prolonged legal battle involving several charges which the opposition leader has alleged is to stop his presidential bid in the February 2024 elections. And you know, as I say, I do like saying, give a dog a bad name, and you know what? you can hang it. So they managed to give him a bad name. Whether he did it or not, that I don't know. But they managed to give him a bad name, and it landed him where? Bisha in there, and he cannot do much about it. So his chances of running for presidency come next month is like a mirage. All right, then. I think that I'm of the view that maybe they need to support the other candidate that is coming from his party. They need to throw their weight behind him. Now, when he's able to do that, and he manages to win the election, since President Starr is not running for that, and he manages to win the election, then he can come out and then pardon him, whatever, and then he can go scot-free, and then can maybe some way, somehow, get himself ready for the next election. But what about that? That's quite an interesting one, isn't it? Okay, Starr Radio UK. In other stories as well, Somaliland has defended ministers. Somaliland defense minister has resigned in protest over a deal allowing Ethiopia to use a port in breakaway Somali region. Dikani Mohammed Atey criticized President Mose B. Abdi for not consulting the ministers on the Ethiopia port deal, learning about it through the media. Now, Atey from Somaliland's Aldar region, where Ethiopia aims to establish a military base in Logaya, cited a lack of consultation. The agreement is set to grant Ethiopia access to the Red Sea, with reports suggesting it recognizes Somaliland's independence. Now, Somalia deems it an aggression, recalling its ambassador to Addis Ababa. Diplomatic tensions led to Ethiopia's ambassador also returning to Addis Ababa. Okay, what an interesting one. So what is going to happen next? That's the question on the lips of most people in that region. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? So coming away from Starr Radio UK. One final story. The result of the judiciary inquiry into the Derna disaster in Libya shows that the dams that gave way last September was fragile. Now, Libya's Attorney General Al-Siddiq Al-Saw on Sunday said at least 25 experts were unanimous in their assessment that negligence led to the disaster. The results published last week said the disaster could have been avoided if the recommendations made since 2003 to maintain these dams and build a third had been applied. The massive flooding devastated much of the northeastern Libya city on September 10 and 11, leaving 4,540 people dead, according to official figures. The torrent of water washed away neighborhoods and damaged critical sewage and water infrastructure that has yet to be repaired, according to the UN, which also said at the time most of the deaths could have been avoided. More than 30,000 people were displaced in Derna, and nearly 1 million people were affected by the floods, according to the UN's International Organization for Migration. Well, so do they remember who helped them build all those stuff? And the fact that he is not there, and they decided to rest on their oars and look at where it's landed them. Okay, a final story from the DRC. The Democratic Republic of Congo's Electoral Commission has cancelled the votes cast for 82 candidates who contested in the legislative and local council elections. The head of the Senate said on Friday that the candidates were involved in illegal activities which include fraud, illegal possession of voting materials, and intimidation. 12 candidates from the presidential party are listed. The number exceeds 20 when adding candidates of political groups belonging to the ruling coalition. 3 sitting ministers are named. Congolese voted starting December 20 in concurrent presidential, parliamentary, and local polls. In the statement released on Saturday, main opposition candidates in the presidential election asked how, in a simultaneous election with a single ballot paper, fraud could not have affected the entire general election. It's quite interesting, isn't it? But this all coming away from Star Radio UK. We're going to be running up pretty soon. Your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, let's go to Ghana, and then we can finally bring the program to a close. A cook-a-thon. Ghana Chefs Association confers executive chef position on File 2. Okay. And a 5-day of cooking, Abdul Razak Fala has hit 120 hours of cooking, breaking the current record held by Alan Fisher, who cooked for 119 hours, 57 minutes, and 16 seconds. Fala started cooking 5 days ago, and let's see how far that will take her. And yes, definitely, she's broken the Guinness Book of Record. But I want to see what they do. So they say the cooking. Is it cooking and cooking what? So has it got all the ingredients there? So for how many days you are still there, just cut it and this is so, meaning that you're not sleeping for I don't know. I need to, somebody should educate me there, you know. It's quite an interesting one what they do there. But congratulations to her for trying to breaking that record there as well. Well, New African Foundation is delighted to host the Convention 2024. This event is scheduled to take place on the 7th of January at the Kwame Nkrumah Independence Square, coinciding with Ghana's Constitution Day. This event will encompass different facets, that was yesterday, including thoughts, leaders, and artists, all before an eclectic audience, including some stratum community and group that constitutes the country, a microcosmic representation of the microcosmic continent. New Africa Foundation, in partnership with AfroKids, will give out 5,000 pairs of shoes to leveled people as part of activities at the event. Information has said Dr. Arikana Chihombori Kwao, a tribalizing leader and Pan-African advocate from Zimbabwe with a medical background and a commitment to fostering unity among African nations and the diaspora. Dr. Chihombori Kwao has actively dismantled barriers and created opportunities for collaboration in various fields. Her efforts in empowering women, promoting gender equality, and championing education and healthcare initiatives contribute to a legacy transcending border. Also, Professor P.L.O. Lumumba will be there. He's a distinguished African legal scholar and passionate advocate for good governance and Pan-Africanism from Kenya. And Julius Malema is also going there. He's from South Africa, a dynamic and influential politician who has captured the hearts of many with his impassioned commitment to justice, social justice, and economic equality. And then finally, we have Peter Obi, a luminary in Nigerian politics with unwavering integrity and exceptional leadership acumen, with a background in economics and social stint in the business. Obi brings a unique blend of financial acuity and social consciousness to the political arena. This is all coming your way from Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, 12:22 the time. I am Archie. And a deputy ranking member of the Education Committee in Parliament, Dr. Clement Appa, has provided an educational lesson to the Education Minister, Yao Edichum, regarding the concept of review. Now, this response is prompted by a statement from the Education Minister and communicators from the ruling New Patriotic Party, asserting that the National Democratic Congress call for a review of the free senior high school implies an intention to cancel the policy. Speaking of the 63rd anniversary of the Ghana Muslim Mission in Kumasi recently, Dr. Osei Yao Dichum stated that any plan to cancel will be resisted because the policy has been successful. President Akufo-Addo and his vice brought free SHS, and they have provided the needed support to make it a success and bring relief to parents. If anyone says they will review free SHS, it means one thing: that person wants to cancel it, and we won't allow that, he stated. Now, if they lose power, can he say that he's not going to allow that to happen? If they want it to be means tested, can he say that they are not going to allow that to happen? People have got means to support their wards. They don't need the support of government. Why can't they pay for theirs? And then the others who need the help from government, they get the help from government. What do you think about all that? Well. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. A final story, and this time from the Vice President of Ghana. Now, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has called on all political actors to commit to resolving disputes through the judicial system in the upcoming general election in 2024. Dr. Bawumia highlighted Ghana's reputation as the most peaceful country in West Africa and the second most peaceful in Africa, emphasizing the importance of maintaining this status. During a crossover service at Action Chapel, Dr. Bawumia stated that despite political differences, the 2024 election should not lead to any form of instability. He emphasized the tradition in Ghana of resolving election-related disagreement through the legal system. In Ghana, he said, we have difficulties and disagreement over elections. We go to the court. We settle their matter in court. We will settle it that way, and we will go back and live peacefully. And this is how I expect the 2024 election to go, said the Vice President. As the country prepares for the general election, Dr. Bawumia urged Ghanaians to remember the nation in their prayers, emphasizing the importance of maintaining peace and stability. And listeners, this is where I bring the program to a close for today. God willing, tomorrow we're going to be coming your way with the Tuesday edition of the morning show. And as I did say, tomorrow, God willing, too, we'll be having BB Clement on BB Means Business, the first live program for the year 2024. Last week was a repeat broadcast, but the first live one that's going to come your way, and she's going to be looking at AI. She's going to be having her guest, Nicole Ramsey Nicole, who is going to be her guest, and she's going to be talking about how AI can help your small business. What about that? You can chill a bit. It's not everything that you need to see to write. At least you have AI, and therefore you'll be able to solve it out. Right? Okay. So listeners, this is where I bring the program to a close for today. And let me say thank you very much to every one of you who tuned in this morning to listen to me. It's been a pleasure coming your way. I sign off with Kofi Boham. It says, names of talkatives. Until I see you tomorrow, it's bye-bye from me.
Yeah. It's like my favorite song on this album, y'all. It's no secret in our world. People like to talk.
This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio UK.
They will spread lies and rumors just to be known. So why are you wasting your time like this? Hearing those things that break your heart. Give no attention, give no thoughts. Cause people talk, but they'll never help you walk. So whenever they speak, look up and you will see a broken pencil and a sheet and tell them, say, I'm writing names of talkatives. Yeah.
All of this noise you're making on me. Teacher will get you when he comes. I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
I'm writing names of talkatives.
I'm writing names of talkatives.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
all of
9.
this noise you're making on me.
Teacher, let the when he comes.
Teacher will get you when he comes. I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
There are many voices in this life, and to be honest, many are not nice. So don't hear something and pick a knife, cause most of these things are nothing but lies. Teacher said be careful how you hear, cause there are talkatives here, they're everywhere. So silence the voices in your head and give no attention to your fears. I'm writing names of talkatives.
All of this noise you're making on me. Teacher will get you when he comes.
As for me,
I have a race.
No time to waste.
No time to waste.
I'm writing names of talkatives.
I'm writing names of talkatives.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Teacher will get you when he comes. I have a race. No time to waste.
Can we talk?
Yeah.
Can we talk? Call them, say
talkatives.
Do you know any?
Talkatives.
Yeah. Have you met any?
Talkatives.
Can we write some?
Talkatives.
List some names of talkatives. I am going now.
Talkatives.
Yeah. Some friends are
talkatives.
Some family members
talkatives.
Some landlords are
talkatives.
I said your exes are
talkatives. This is Starr Radio UK.
Talkatives.
Have you known any?
Talkatives.
Move away from.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
Bloggers.
Talkatives.
Social media.
Talkatives.
Old friends.
Talkatives.
Some doctors report are
talkatives.
Some symptoms are
talkatives.
Addictions are
talkatives.
Move away from
talkatives.
People's opinions are
talkatives.
You are too fast
talkatives.
You are too slow
talkatives.
You talk too much
talkatives.
You are very quiet
talkatives.
Open makeup dodo
talkatives.
Your face is so raw
talkatives.
You sing too much
talkatives.
You don't sing at all
talkatives.
The last time I heard they said